Hello everyone. Today I can see a lot of Imperial Masters. Hello everyone, I am the Anna's doctor, Lim Ik. The picture shows me in the Atomy and in UKids. And I also appeared in a TV program, but I rejected it because I have to prepare for this lecture today. This is the sixth lecture for me on this stage, so I want to talk about vitamins and minerals, which are vital for our daily life. You can see many people who have those vitamins and minerals on their table, and some of them are separate and some of them are combined. When I see my patients, I think they have 3 to 4 vitamin complex, and that's not a good way. Let me show you why. Let's see. They are so stressful. I guess this is something that you are experiencing, but through vitamin and minerals, you can become these people. You can have a lot of energy. So you can see the picture. 유키즈 on the blog, women's era, 집사부일체. I met him, the star. I learned medicine like immunity and pharmacology, and I also learned physiology as well. And as a clinician, I learned further for medicine and I became doctor. And it takes 16 years for you to study all those things. And after going through internship and resident, I became the specialist for the ANAS. And it took a total of 16 years. For 16 years, I didn't come outside and studied a lot, and to become proctological surgeon. But now I regret I should have started Atomy earlier. Do you agree? In between the 16 years. And I believe you are in between 16 years. You could have become a doctor, but you are here because it is the faster way and to become successful. Before talking about vitamin and mineral, let's look at nutrition. Nutrition is related to energy, metabolism. All the nutritions are observed in your body and they are delivered to your cells in your body. If you don't have enough nutrition, then that means you don't have nutritions observed enough in your body, or you are not taking enough of them. And we have 3 nutrition: carbohydrate and protein and fat. Of course, if we have no need, we can have a better result for our farming, but we still need water, which is essential for their growth. Most of our cells are composed of water, so water is very important. But when you have the carbohydrate, protein, and fat, when you have all the essential nutritions, if you don't have the even more basic ones, vitamin and minerals, then you cannot have enough effect from the 3 nutritions. If you don't have vitamin and mineral if you don't have enough of them, then you will feel fatigue. You will lose your energy. Vitamin and mineral is very important. The enough intake of vitamin and mineral and the enough sleep is very important for your basic energy. If you feel fatigue, if you feel stress, then that means you have a lot of waste in your body, and that means you need vitamin and minerals. You should not blame the person or the environment that is giving you the stress. So while we are doing Atomy, many people are becoming stressful. Our Empower Master She in her speech said that it's about a fraud. I don't think it is a fraud. I think it's more than a fraud. Have you heard of something that you should not give up, never give up? So in the past, I also tried to give up, thinking that I cannot do it. I tried to give up 3 times. I didn't go to center, but as I do it, I could feel that I have kind of accumulation. When we see the top of the mountain when while climbing, we feel that we want to drink in the middle, but sometimes when you don't really look at the top, you can be energized and you can keep going. This is something which also true for Atomy as well. Then what are vitamins? Vitamins are very important for our metabolism and for our body function, and it is very essential for our life, for the maintenance of life. So it works as an enzyme or a sub-enzyme. You might feel very confused with these terms, but we have the enzymes. They are very important as an agent before it works between different elements, and you need to encourage those agents to work harder. And the sub-enzyme is encouraging enzymes to work very hard, and this is what vitamins and minerals are doing.
So without the role of coenzyme is like working as a matchmaker. In order to make the enzyme and the proenzyme meet together, we need that matchmaker, and the coenzyme is like a matchmaker. So let me talk about vitamin right now. There are 2 types of vitamin. One is water-soluble vitamin, and the second one is the fat-soluble vitamin. Can you see this pointer? Could you please check it? Anyways, so water-soluble vitamin is well solved in the water, and fat-soluble vitamin is well resolved in the fat. If like in the village, in the Nepal village, if we don't take enough meat, so we might be lack of fat-soluble vitamin. So we need to take fat-soluble vitamin. And fat-soluble vitamin is strong in the heat, so it could be also safe in while cooking. So let me dive into it. First of all, let me talk about vitamin A. You need to remember just two things. First, it is good for eyes. Second, it is a epithelial cell. So let me take an example of the light bulbs. We say it, there is a candle within 1 meters. So that is luminous intensity, 1 luminous intensity. In order to have a better luminous intensity, we need to have enough vitamin A. So I'm now writing down in the blackboard. This rhodopsin need to be broken down into opsin, which has the higher luminous intensity. And in this breakage, it could create the electricity signal, and it also delivered to our brain throughout the chemical reaction. Even at night, we need to have a sight, and the capability of the sight at night is done by rhodopsin. So if we don't have rhodopsin, we cannot see at night because we cannot get any electric signal through the chemical reaction. And so if we lack vitamin A, we cannot see at night. We call it night blindness. I know most of you are really sleepy because you came here really early. Even though you're sleepy, you don't have light blindness. But anyway, we know what is light blindness. And let me draw this body. This is mouth, and this is anus, and this is intestine, and this is a lung. And these are our bodies. And outer of this are the outside, the environment. And vitamins, so we call here epithelial cell. And vitamin A could make it stronger. If I think around us there are some patients with a lung cancer, even though they don't have any people around them who smoke, who smoke or who drink. That is because of this cell function. If they have a weak cell, they could be susceptible to the lung cancer. So vitamin E is correlated, is closely related to the night blindness and the epithelial cells. And also, it is related to the stomach. If we don't have enough vitamin A, it could hurt our stomach and intestine, and which could lead to diarrhea. So the two things that you need to remember about vitamin A is the light blindness and the epithelial cells. Let me move on to the next. And please focus here. There are three major nutrients, which are carbs, protein, and fat. And it is the process of creating ATP. ATP is a battery of cells, and it could be created through our breath. And carbs will be changed into acetyl, and protein could become amino acid, and it could also go to acetyl. I know this is really difficult to understand, but you have to know that all of these three major nutrients, the carbs, protein, and fat, will create ATP, and ATP will serve as a battery of cells. As I mentioned, vitamin ATP is a water-soluble vitamin, and it is hard to be stored. So while being stored, a lot of vitamin B could be destroyed, and when it is destroyed, it could be changed into lactic acid. You know, lactic acid could cause the fatigueness, and if we intake too much carbs and protein, it could have some remaining nutrients, and the remaining nutrients could be solved in our body, and it become a fat or cholesterol in our body. So if you have a lot of fat under your arms, and if you have a lot of fat in your hips, and if your thighs are so fat, all of these are because of the subcutaneous fat. And this kind of fat is caused by the extra nutrients. And when you skip your meals, you might have lost some fat only in your faces, so that it is not really good for dieting or good for losing your weight. So I would like to say that if you don't want to have this kind of extra fat, you need to really be careful in taking the right amount of vitamins and minerals. Stop eating. You're even eating right now. Stop eating snacks. So let me move on to vitamin B1. In spring season, you might feel lethargic because your body could not create ATP, and you don't have enough nutrients in your body because all of the nutrients might be stored in the winter season and it is already used up. So we call it spring fever. So normally people feel lethargic in the spring season, and we call it spring fever. That's also related to the nutrients in our body. In order to get rid of it, you need to drink sports drink before we have a meal. Before you have a meal, you could drink sports drink 30 minutes or 1 hour earlier than your meal, and it could prevent you from having some spring fever. So I would like to recommend it to have a sports drink before you have a meal. So before 20 minutes or 30 minutes before you have a meal, please drink a bottle of sports drink, and it could prevent some spring fever. And also for the students, vitamin B1 is really important because our brain cells has BBB, blood-burial blood. There is a protection in our brain. It prevents other bacterials and the germs from intruding. And then the brain cells are using this vitamin for this function, for this protection function. So for our students, it is really important to take enough vitamin B1. And our brain cells is using glucose as fuel. And if we don't have enough glucose, our brain cannot function well. So without the vitamin B1, a student might be nodding off. And then in that moment, when the mother give some like fruits or the apples, it could also make the students sleepy more. In that moment, what we need to give them is vitamin B1. So if we need to give them vitamin B1, and then it could be really good for their brain function. So let's keep doing. In a math school, we study all of these vitamins and we remember this. The first, vitamin B is good for the brain function, and next vitamin B2 is good for skin. So the second, the vitamin B2 is good for the skin. Have you heard of the white skin injection? Actually, a lot of cosmetic clinic in Korea have that injection, which is called white skin injection, and you don't need to take that injection if you intake our vitamin products. In vitamin B2, there is a function that could create the glutathione with the function of the coenzyme. So in vitamin B2, all of these nutrients are included. So you don't need to take that kind of like milk injection if you intake this nutrient B2. It is called white skin injection. In a lot of cosmetic clinic in Korea, they have the white skin injection, but you don't need to take that injection if you intake vitamin B2 because it's really good for your skin. It is come from milk, so it is extracted from milk. In Korea, if we have really good skin, we say it, you have a milk skin. So milk means good skin. But the milk is sensitive to light. Milk is sensitive to light, so most of the milk pack are protecting the sun from intruding. Next is vitamin B3. You must remember vitamin B3. Even though you forget all the things, you need to remember vitamin B3. Who is the most important person in anatomy? Only one. Yes, it's Chairman Park Han-gil. So now I'm talking about vitamin B3. We call it niacin, even though it is really difficult to understand, but please follow me. Let me make you understand. There are a lot of genes in the cell, so that gene is really small and it is curved like this. It is bounded like this. It's like a barcode of a product. So this one barcode has already 30 lines, and it has information of the country, manufacturer, and the product. But in one gene, there are over 3 billion lines, and 95% of them are not really relevant, but about 25,000 to 30,000 information is included in one gene. In barcode, there are only 3 information, but in one gene, there are a lot of information, which is over 25 to 30,000. Every day, we are taking radiation, UVs, and active oxygen. In active oxygen, there are a lot of function and it kills a lot of germs and the bacterials. So that's why we are using active oxygen when we clean the restroom or the bathroom. So active oxygen could be really dangerous. But as I mentioned, ATP is a battery of the cells, and in order to generate ATP, you need to burn the glucose. In that process, active oxygens are created. So there are always active oxygen around us. If it is too many, it could cut the lines, and the other thing could be put to this, and it could deform the gene. And then there is a protein that need to direct this, and in order to create that protein, we need to unleash the protein, and that is threadowin. And this threadowin could create this kind of protein, and in the precursor of the threadowin is NAD. When we intake vitamin B3, it could go to our cells and it could change into NAD. And I show you the process of the ATP, but even in that process, only 2 ATP created, but like the remaining 30 ATPs could be created through A and NAD and threadowin. So when there's something wrong with our DNA, let me say that every day 1,000 to 10,000 of DNAs are being destroyed every day. It is normal. But thanks to this sirtuin, it could fix this damaged DNA. It is all thanks to vitamin B3. If we are lack of vitamin B3, we cannot fix this damaged DNA. And if it takes too much time, it could slow down the speed of the recovery, and we call the process of the recovery inflammation. If it is too slow to recover that damaged DNA, we call it is an inactive process. So if we lose this kind of function, and if we are losing this kind of function, we call it aging or suicidal cells. And these kind of things are being created every day, and every day by time goes by, we say that, oh, every day I feel different. And this is because of this kind of cell function. When you wake up in the morning, you might say that, oh, I feel different today, and I feel I'm getting worse. And that is because of the damaged cells every day, and how we could prove it.
So if you look at them in details, then you can see the loops of DNAs, the links. But if you look at those younger people, then you don't really have those pieces. But if you have the pieces, that means your DNA is damaged. And in theory, if you recovered 100% of them, then that means you will never get aged. And those cells which are in rest are actually recovering your body, and you can get younger. Fibroblast, those cells will be activated, and they will create new cells, and you will have those cells instead of collagen. So it is kind of a forever. It can maintain forever. It is not a temporary wall, so you can become this healthy. So in theory, if you have enough vitamin and mineral, then you can recover those damaged DNA, and it has the anti-aging effect. That is why the scholar in Harvard University said that getting aged is not a natural process. It is also a disease. This is something that you can cure. So he created this product. And vitamin B3 is very important for your health. And here's something very dangerous. If you take only this nutrition, then you can have cancer in your skin. So you need a balance. You need vitamin complex for this reason, because it needs other nutrition to help it. So the function of cells will be deteriorated, and it is called pellagra. Pellagra is very common in Indians who don't really eat a lot of rice because they don't intake enough vitamin B3. They have cancer, their immunity gets weaker. I want you to remember only one thing for this lecture, that you need to have a vitamin B3, and you need to have the vitamin complex for this reason, and with that effort you can become even younger, and you can become a student. You can become younger in your look, in your appearance. And vitamin B5, it is very essential for steroid hormone. And we have a lot of patients with a lot of infections, and as a last resort, we use steroids. With steroid, your stress will decrease. This is called steroid hormone, and vantotensin B5 can work as a steroid to relax your stress. That is why cells themselves, if they feel blue, then you yourself will also feel blue. And if those cells are full of energy, then you can also feel that energy. And that means your hair, every part of your body will have the energy, and your hair will be very nutritious, and it will be very helpful for your hair condition. Next up, let's look at B6. This is a kind of a common question for medical students because we usually call them pyridoxine, not vitamin B6. Those working hard students might recognize that every nutrition has their nickname and this chemical formula as well, and you can refer to this material later on. Some might say that some products have pyridoxine, but we don't really have it, but it says vitamin B6, not pyridoxine. So they just misunderstand that we don't have the pyridoxine, but some of them say that we have vitamin complex, we have the vitamin B6, but we don't have pyridoxine. But you should remember pyridoxine and B6 are the same thing. So as an atomian, we should remember they are the same thing. It can be involved in hemoglobin synthesis of red blood cells, and it involves in converting tryptophan to vitamin B3. So we have this tryptophan, which is a very hard to understand terminology, but I can feel that you are very interested in it. Tryptophan can be very helpful for serotonin and melatonin for your good night's sleep, and it's also helpful for endorphin. Tryptophan can be converted into B3. This is the synergy of minded people's cooperation. This is the super synergy of united. So every part of this mechanism is working separately to have the synergy effect, and it can be converted into vitamin B3, and vitamin B6 can help the conversion process to create the vitamin B3 to help the secret of serotonins and many other elements. And with vitamin B3, you can have the anti-aging effect, and you can also prevent cancer with this nutrition. So you might feel that you also need the vitamin B6, not only the vitamin B3. That's true. You have to have a lot of vitamins. And next, let's look at biotin. This is very famous. Atomy vitamin. We have atomy vitamin and we have the biotin. Why? And everyone knows that. Why? It can strengthen your hair, and it can also strengthen your nails and toenails, and your hair will not get thicker. It will live longer. Is that? And glycoproteins in raw egg whites interfere with biotin absorption. And B9, it can help you reduce anemia. Vitamin B9 can be secreted very fast from vitamin B9. So if you don't have enough vitamin B9, then you can have anemia. And for this pregnant woman, they feel anemia because they don't have enough of B9, vitamin B9. In order to help your baby's growth, you need vitamin B9. And every single of the ingredients are very important. That is why you need to have a vitamin complex. Vitamin 12 is also important for the creation of red blood cells. It was found in animal foods and rarely found in plant foods. We are recently doing Slim Body Challenge, right? Slim Body Challenge. Those who are participating in Slim Body Challenge, they are eating some vegetarian foods rather than meat, and that means they can have not enough vitamin B12. Atomy next month will have a new product. Do you know what they are? I guess you are a hard worker for a lot of seminars. I believe they would have a lot of vitamin B12, and if they contain a lot of it, you can buy one. Vitamin B12 is very helpful for a slim body. It is very essential for those vegetarians. I guess it contains a lot of vitamin B12. Okay, thank you. So let's look at vitamin C. Vitamin C, you can remember only two things: antioxidant and collagen. It can increase the intensity of your skin, and if you are stressed out, if you're less confident, if you feel a lot of wrinkles on your face, then you can have vitamin C. Vitamin C can work with vitamin E to work as an antioxidant. If you lack of it, if you don't have enough vitamin C, then you will not have enough collagen and you would have some hemorrhage. Let's look at vitamin D next up. Vitamin D is also very important to maintain the healthy level of calcium and phosphorus phosphorus concentrations in the blood. If you lack vitamin D, then you would have weaker bones, and you can have a lot of vitamin D created by having a lot of sunlight. And vitamin D is converted to provitamin D is converted to vitamin D by ultraviolet rays. So you need those sunlight, the right sunlight, to have vitamin D. And if you don't have the right sunlight, then you will get tanned without any vitamin D created. And vitamin D is something that you should take. Let's look at vitamin E next up. It is very important for your blood circulation, and it can strengthen your blood vessels, and it can also hydrate your skin. So you have a lot of cosmetics containing vitamin E. So you can remember only one thing for vitamin K. It can play a very important role in blood clotting. And when you see those traditional Korean drama, you can witness the effect of vitamin K. So for vitamins, you can have vitamin complex rather than having them separately. Let's look at minerals. If you look at the minerals, and we have match like this, and we have the head. Vitamin is the head, and the mineral is the body part. So mineral is very important. Mineral is part of our body, and it can also the core part of enzymes or hormones. And when you go to the ER, what is the most important is to keep the blood vessels, especially maintain the heart function is very important in the ER, and mineral is therefore very important for your health. And we have the large amount of minerals, but we also have the trace minerals, which is very important, which cannot be obtained from food. We have selen right here. So you don't really have to have the cocktail injection, right? Because you have the selen from our Atomy products. Vitamin C and vitamin B are combined for the antioxidant effect, and it is 3,000 times potent. So recently it is used for cancer cure. Chrome can work for the creation of insulin. If you don't have chrome enough, then you would have diabetes. Those who have the diabetes over 40 years old, and that means you don't have enough mineral. Next up, let's look at iron. If you have anemia, and if that's the reason for your iron intake, then that means you need to take iron for a longer period of time, for at least 3 months. And on the right side of the screen, you can see the picture. When collagen is produced, iron is very important. We have the 3 plus iron, and it can be activated when it becomes the 2 plus. And vitamin C is very important to increase the absorption. So it can help to increase collagen, the synthesis of collagen. And you also have zinc. We have zinc. And what do you think of it when you think of zinc? Casablanca? Many gentlemen has zinc in their sperm. So when you don't have enough zinc, then they will not have enough insulin, which is leading to the diabetes. And we also apply zinc ointment for infection. So if you want to have a pretty face, you need to have all of them. That means you have to pay a lot of money, but we can also have all of them with only 1 pill of vitamin complex. And next up, you can see yogurt, which is very important for your thyroid. It is very important that you have heat in your body. If you have infection, inflammation, then you feel heated in your body. Your body temperature would increase because of the immune effect. The temperature of our body temperature, the normal range is 36.5 degrees Celsius, but It depends on the region of your body. And for this part, the threshold is 32 degrees Celsius. And for the COVID-19, what is the threshold? 37.5 degrees Celsius. If your kids have a fever, then the threshold is 37.5 degrees Celsius. You talk a lot because I talk a lot because of this lecture, not because of my thyroid hormone.
So if you touch here, you could feel how many hormones you have in your thyroid. But anyways, you can see it when you stand up and with your posture. And what is important is the iodine. Next is copper. Some elevators these days have the copper plastic board because it could protect the germs from invading. So let's say if you cough like this, it spreads the bacteria and it could roam around for 3 hours and it could be killed or it could be down. So when you got the package, the delivered package, so for many reasons there could be COVID-19 bacteria on the surface of the package. It could last it for 12 hours or 24 hours. And if you touch on some handles like the doors, and if you touch on that after you cough, and it could last for 2 to 3 days. So that's why doctors say that you need to wash your hands thoroughly and you need to wear some gloves in order to prevent the infection. And copper. How about copper? If you cough on the copper board, it only lasts for 3 to 4 hours. That's why there are some copper coating pads in the elevators these days. There is a new air purifier these days. It flows out the winds like this, and there are a lot of bacteria and germs at the filter. And this is number 1. And this is the one that has the copper filter, so it kills all of the bacteria and germs. Which one is better? What kind of air purifier do you want to use? Please raise your hand if you like number 1 with only the filter. Raise your hand if you like number 2 with the copper pad. Yes, I think you are really agile. Atomy also has the air purifier. Which one is ours? I think this is all thanks to the seminar. You are now fully acknowledging the function of our air purifier. Yes, this is ours. Atomy purifier has copper pad on its machine. Next, let me move on to the next. Next is manganese. If we burn the body, it will go to ashes. In that ashes, there are the manganese. It could make the bone stronger, and it could also facilitate the secretion of the insulin. So when we lack manganese, we have a weaker bone. If you see that he or she is really skinny, but he or she weighs a lot, it means that their bones are really strong. It means that their bones is filled with manganese. In order to make your children grow well, you need to provide enough manganese. So until the age of 26 or 25, the growth hormones are secreted. So you need to intake a lot of manganese in order to make your children grow well. Next is molybdenum. This is not Maldives. Don't get confused of the Maldives, the island. This is molybdenum. It changes the nitrogen into ammonium so that we could use that nutrient in our body. We've already talked about it. There are a lot of elements. So these are the essential element of our body. Now we have 118 minerals in the world, and except for that, if we get rid of the other heavy materials and radiation, we could only use 70 to 90 minerals, and we are now talking about the essential minerals today. So nitrogen. Other things could be resolved in the water or resolved in the food. Nitrogen could not be. We need to dissolve the gases into the air, and we need to observe it, and this is nitrogen. And molybdenum could be helpful for that. So this is nitrogen. It could be broken down into 2 types of ammonium, and it has this kind of ATP. One ATP is 10 kilocalorie. Enemy's potato ramen, it has 475 kilocalorie. It means that with that lemon, you could only create 3 elements of the nitrogen, which means that ATP is really important because it could create a lot of nitrogen, like minerals and the vitamins. So molybdenum, once again, is not the Maldives. Anyways, molybdenum is is essential for pregnancy. So if you have some troubles in having babies, you might think that, oh, it's a problem of the like man or a woman. Actually, sometimes it could be blamed to the lack of molybdenum. If you have diabetes in your 40s, it could be type 2 diabetes, and most of them lack this insulins and the mineral, so it could cause the type 2 diabetes, which means that if you take a good vitamin product, you could prevent the disease from happening. So I would like to recommend you to take good vitamin product because it could prevent a lot of diseases. Okay, thank you very much. Here, corozolic acid, and we also have a product that contains corozolic acid. So you could take this picture. You could take a picture of the screen because I think it includes a lot of good information. It's just kind of the summary of my presentation. So you could also present this picture to your partner, and you could say that, I took the presentation today, and I now found that the reason that why we need to take minerals and vitamins. So I think this is the summary of my lecture today. And here, please look at here. For the collagen composition, we need vitamin C and iron. And for the stronger collagen, you need to take these three, like copper, iron, and manganese. And for a better blood, for like clean blood, you need to have more vitamin K and manganese. And you need to have less vitamin E. And all of this, you need to strike a balance. In order to make a stronger bonds, you need to take this kind of minerals and vitamins. And for your energy metabolism, you need to take vitamin B, molybdenum, and manganese. If you strike a balance in your minerals, it could go to the positive combination. And let me talk about the negative combination. If you lost your balance in your minerals and vitamins, it could harm the combination of the minerals. So it could be negatively reacted in your body. That's why we need to take a well-balanced and well-composite vitamin and mineral products. Once again, that's why we need to take the vitamin and mineral complex. We are approaching the end of the presentations. So in order to be healthy, you need to take a well-balanced multivitamin product recommended by expert professionals, because that kind of medicines have the great balance of the minerals and the vitamins. And when that product comes out next month we're gonna have that perfect product. Okay, thank you. Actually, today's lecture is for the graduate students. This is really in-depth knowledge, and now you learn the foundation you learn the very basic and the foundation of this information. And next month, I will be here with a new product. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.